Hi, I'm Ryan Perry. Thanks for tuning in to Wild Reality TV. We got a great show for you today. You're not going to want to miss this. Have you ever just had one of those seasons that no matter what you did, it seemed like nothing was working out for you? Our 2011 spring turkey season, that's how it basically started for us. Our whole first season, man, was a washout. It was raining. I mean, there was a lot of wind. Almost every spot that we already had planned and already had pre-scouted and already had located birds, we couldn't get into. There was no way we could get into. The backwater and everything was out. All our ground was underwater. So, you know, what are you supposed to do? We're sitting here scrambling for a spot. Finally, later on within that week of the first season, we actually started to get on a few birds. And for whatever reason, bad luck, whatever you want to call it, we could not get the camera and the bird to work for us. I mean, and when you're married to the camera, that's just how it goes sometimes. And, you know, we elected not to shoot the bird or whatever, and because we didn't feel like, you know, it was how it needed to be to make a good show for our fans. So, you know, sometimes that's just how you got to do it. And so basically, our first season, you know, we ended up no birds, no nothing. And but our hopes was high. We still had another season to go. We had fourth season. And it started out really slow too. Our first 2 days, we heard just a gobble one day there, and it seemed like our bad luck just was following us around, because no matter what we did, it just seemed like we couldn't quite get on a bird. Well, luckily, a friend of mine calls me second night into the hunt and tells me, hey, I was out checking this field. I seen a strutter down in the bottoms. In which I was shocked, because we never went and checked this spot, because I just assumed that this spot was underwater down in the bottoms and everything. Every bottoms that we'd hunted had been underwater, and I just assumed that, you know, that's how it was going to be there. Well, he goes, checks the field, sees the strutter down there in the bottoms, calls me and tells me about it. So now we have a game plan. We kind of got some birds located. We go in first day, and as we're setting up, I mean, the birds are literally falling out of the trees. We're trying to get set up before these birds actually hit the field. You can hear them just falling out of the trees and everything. And we was pumped. We was excited. I mean, we could hear the gobbling. We could hear a lot going on. And we really felt like this was going to happen for us. We actually got to a point where this bird actually works all the way up to the edge of the timber, and for some reason, he just stops. And he's gobbling his head off. We can't get him to work on out into the field. We're not quite sure what happens, and then it kind of hits us. Well, he's got a hen with him. As we're trying to work this bird, as we're trying to call for him, this hen, she don't like that. So she's carrying this bird away from us every time we call. Well, by the time we kind of figured out what was happening, it was late in the day. We're only allowed to hunt till 1 o'clock in Illinois. And basically we had to call it up for, we had to, wrap everything up for the day. As bad as we hated to leave this spot. This bird is gobbling his head off. We have to leave. This is our closest we've got in the last 6-8 hunts, and I'm telling you something, we was pretty aggravated, pretty frustrated too. But we had one more day, and we had our game plan. We did a little adjustment on our setup. We actually moved a little bit closer to the timber where these birds was kind of working down there in the corner. And our strategy was to basically take the tom out of the equation, do minimal calling. Literally, actually, we decided we wasn't going to do no calling unless necessary, and hope that these birds worked out to us, knowing that they like to strut in this area. So we get in. We actually are running a little late. It's starting to break day, and this bird is already on the ground, gobbling his head off, and I got a feeling our luck is fixing to change. Stay tuned.
Well, we're back in the same spot that we was here yesterday. This bird, he's just gobbling his head off. He is hot. We're afraid that he's got a hen with him, and he's not wanting to answer the call, so we're hoping that just here shortly that they're going to want to work out in this field. Maybe warm up in the sun a little bit. Maybe she'll bring him with him, so stick with us. You're watching Wild Reality TV. Boom, baby. Yeah. Woo. Woo. Let me tell you something.
Finally.
You ain't gonna believe how hard that we've worked for this dang bird. Oh my goodness. I wanted to let the bird get on down a little bit, but what he was gonna do is he was gonna skirt us and get out here and stay on that edge. Oh my goodness, I can't believe, thanks man.
Yes!
Thanks for sticking it out with me, dude.
Awesome.
Oh man, you ain't gonna believe we have had a tough hunt. Me and Bill, man, Bill, he's been a trooper. He's been sticking it out with me, man. We've been getting up early. Oh my goodness. Bill's been really helping me out, man. I just want to thanks, man.
Man, it's been awesome, dude.
We've just had the worst luck. This bird gobbled and gobbled. This bird was gobbling when we left yesterday. This is how bad it was. We could not get him to come to us. This hen, every time we would call and get him to work towards us, this hen would just carry him away. So we actually changed our strategy today. We actually moved the blind up over here to the corner where they've been working. Today, I called once, and that was it. When I realized he wasn't answering me, I just shut the call down. And I knew that they were going to want to strut out in this field. So we even took the tom decoy, we stuck him back. I'm going to tell you something. Sometimes what you have to do is you have to change your strategy. You just have to mix it up a little bit. Try to think about what that bird's doing. That bird, because the hen was with him, every time we'd call, she'd want to pull him away. There's nothing we could do about it. And he's hot. I mean, that sucker was, he would just gobble. You didn't even have to call to him. Unbelievable. We did it. I can't believe it.
One more, buddy.
Oh,
Let's
man, I can't believe it. We got one more, and we're going to hit it hard. Oh, this really lifts our spirits right here. I'm going to tell you something. I've never worked so hard for a bird in my life. Man, we're on, you know, between last season and this season, we're on the 10th, 11th day. I don't even know. It's that bad. I'm used to killing out in the first day or so. So, you know what? Let's go take a look at this bird, man. Whew, thanks, man.
Yeah.
Thanks, Bill. Whew.